Welcome back to me being cheap. I need to do some work on this bathtub. So the backstory on this bathtub was reclaimed from the old bathroom before we did the renovation. It was still in good shape and it's a good metal tub. Now what happened is while we were adding on to the house, this bathtub actually sat outside for maybe a month. And then when it was time to put the bathtub in, it looked fine, but then the finish started coming off. And so let me focus in a little bit more so you can see this. So down in the bottom of the tub, if you notice the dark areas, that is actually where the finish has come off. Now the white areas is the paint that I have put on here. So what happens is about every 3 years, I've got to scrape off this paint and repaint the bottom of the tub because the finish has come off. And then you can also see around the drain there's a little bit of rust, and then there's actually a chip above the drain where the finish is actually chipped, and I've got to fill that in. Now at the same time, I am going to remove all this caulking and redo it because it has mildew on it. So as far as money saved, I reuse the same can of paint every year. I just make, or not every year, but every 3 years. I just make sure that I have it sealed up tightly so that it's still good. Now, I don't know how much it would cost to have this tub professionally refinished, but I'm guessing it's probably over a couple $100. Haven't really ever priced it before, so I can't say for sure. But I imagine it may come to the point where I actually have to rip this bathtub out. If it gets too rusty, like around the drain, may have to rip it out and start over with a new tub. I don't really know how that would work with all this tile here. I suppose they could figure out a way to do it, but hoping to avoid having to have the tub professionally refinished, hoping to avoid having to replace the tub. So the way that I'm going to redo this is I'm going to use this box cutter, and I'll use that to take away the caulk from around the edges of the tub. And on up around that corner is pretty yucky. And then I need to use this razor blade, and I'll go ahead and remove all the loose and flaking paint from the bottom. When that is done, I will clean it very good. I will thoroughly dry it and let it dry. And the good news is that my kids are on vacation, so this tub won't get used. And then once it is dry, I will repaint the bottom and then recaulk the edges. All right, thanks for watching. Hey, welcome back. Here's an update. About halfway through this job, you can see along here I've removed this grout. Back here I've removed all this. It's a messy job. You can see kind of what's in the trash can, the amount of stuff. And you think it looks dirty on the outside and moldy. It's even moldier on the underside. So this is really gross and it's hard to do, and basically you're picking at it with a screwdriver, a box cutter, and a razor blade. And then I read up on YouTube how to make it a little bit easier. I sprayed it with the WD-40 a couple days ago to soften it up. So this really helped. It's not an easy job, but this definitely helped improve it. But anyway, after I get all this removed, I have to clean it up, get all the residue out, obviously clean up the WD-40. All right, thank you. All right, welcome back. It's a couple days later, and I've just had to work on this tub as I've had time. I do have 2 tubs in this house, so it's helpful. So at least I haven't completely put myself out of being able to get cleaned up. This was a pain to get all this grout out, or not the grout, but the silicone. And I have got that around where the wall meets the tub. I have removed that. And I've been drying it with a fan, and I've got some denatured alcohol I'll squirt up in there and hopefully dry out any remaining water that's in there before I put the new silicone. However, I have discovered that these corners and I'm going to see if you can see this. It may not pick up on the corner. These corners here, where the wall meets the wall, they're silicone too, and there's a couple moldy areas. I don't know if you could see that black dot or not. There's one there, and then moving up, there's some more, and then where that decorative trim is a little dirty. So I think before I apply the new silicone, I'm going to have to remove the silicone from the corners, and then over here. This one is not as bad until you get right there. And I'd already removed that lower piece. So I've got a little bit more work to do before I apply the new silicone, but I'm making progress. All right, take care. Welcome back. Welcome back to me being cheap. All right, this took about a week, me doing a little here and there in the evenings, but I removed the caulking from the corners. That took a while, replaced it, and we're having some storms, so that was a lightning flash or the power flash. But repainted the inside of the tub on the bottom, and then replaced the caulking along the edge. So it took 2 tubes of caulking. The tubes were about $6 to $7 each. This was about $12 worth of supply. I had the enamel paint on hand from a previous time that I painted the tub, so that wasn't any extra expense. This caulking is guaranteed for 7 years, no mold. However, the caulking that I had in there before had been in place for about 13 years and had only started molding in the past couple years. So I am hopeful that I may get longer than 7 years out of this. Now, this caulking that I used, it was not very easy to work with. It dried quickly. You can see, I don't know if it's going to pick up on the camera, but there are some wrinkles in the caulk where I tried to smooth it out, and it had already started drying. Also, this was not water cleanup. It was very, very messy. So I think if I ever had to do this again, I might get something that was a little bit more forgiving to work with and maybe a little bit easier to clean up. But anyway, thanks for watching. Hopefully get a few more years out of this old bathtub. All right, take care.